I mean, in terms of their daily responsibilities, I don't think the responsibility actually changed. But in terms of the skill set and how do they actually keep up with the so-called new way of doing or new demand from the clients or the company-wise for the sake of financial services, I think the skill set actually being, I won't say changed, but definitely be required into a more different area as well. So for examples, you probably don't really deal internal things based upon the traditional way for like Excel or the traditional kind of financial models. You really need to take into a lot of innovations. The innovation in terms of as a CFO when you're facing the internal or company assets, a technology or a new models or a new product that come out. Right now, it used to be, I won't say simple, but it would be just very similar to any other financial products. Right now, you will take into the time or implementations in terms of how does this technology going to work and how much value is going to actually worth in the current stage of development. So I think that kind of knowledge or that kind of information will be slightly different from what I do before. Regulation and technologies development sometimes, I don't know what happened, but in the recent probably 5 years, it seems to become a conflict. I won't say it's a conflict. I would say financial industry has been long-term, or the financial role has been long-term with a lot of help with technology. If you look into all these, top technology firms, like IBM, like Oracle, a lot of their service was actually demanded by the big financial group or the financial role in particular. They are trying to make managing finance become easier. It's only through this reason, I won't say 5-6 years, it seems like the development of technology, the adoption and applications in finance become, I won't say different, but become slightly more ahead. So that when a service or when the industry become a step ahead of the regulatory, it look like regulatory started to play these conflict battles with the so-called finance. But I don't think that's a conflict. I would say we are trying to wait for the regulatory to wake up. In terms of we are providing the regulatory, the technology supposed to say, that providing the regulatory a new way of thinking. The financial service or finance could be done in this way rather than the traditional way. So I think it's that moving path becoming faster. So I won't say it's a balance. I would say it's an education. So I would say the CFO roles would be standing in the position where you need to educate the external party, including the accountants, including the regulatory, including the auditors, about how you're supposed to be viewing this type of financial activities right now. I would say it's more, balanced. I would say it's a challenge, but it's also a new type of skill set that a CFO is supposed to have right now. Yeah. Building the trust, or the financial trust in particular, is the role and the main responsibility of the new CFO. The new technology in place means that we will have a lot of new products. We will have to be able to provide financial services in the way that we need to embrace technology. And that standalone won't actually affect CFO. But the changing of the company's financial models because of the new business models would actually need CFO to have the better financial models to managing that, to also help the company to move to the next step. I would say it's artificial intelligence and probably big data. And big data analysts, it also involved a lot of different other things as well, actually. So I think these two, I would call that core elements. It's not because it's something is so cutting edge. So a lot of industry actually have it. I think it's important is because if you don't have it, or if you don't have the team currently to embrace it, to help you to provide a better service for the needs of your clients, then you will probably be behind your peers very easily. I think that's going forward for, starting from 2020. The gap in between of what technology you have and what technology other people have, if the gap becomes bigger, and then you will see your, I won't say market share, but you will see yourself behind your peers, and that gap will become bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. I think as a CFO, you would probably need to acknowledge that fact, and then you will need to acknowledge that you need to deploy financial resources into developing that. and that won't be something that you can see the result immediately right afterward. So how did you balance that kind of financial resources in the, I won't say exchange, in the hope of the business development, and then tolerance such kind of development won't happen overnight? And how do you actually make sure your financial soundness still, manageable with the expectation that the management application or the business application may come, quite afterward? That kind of development phase, you can say the research and development in the technology will definitely become something a CFO need to balance.